Is peace in the Middle East even possible now?
Everybody is able to change, I believe. So I'm really feeling grounded and optimistic that it will change.
Hey, it's Julie. Welcome to Uncomfy, a show about sticking with moments that challenge us even when they're uncomfortable. And I know you're probably wondering, why would anybody choose to be uncomfortable? But I know from personal experience, and maybe you do too, that sometimes a little discomfort has benefits if we can stay open and curious about it. So that's what we're here to explore. Let's get uncomfy. We're coming up on 2 years since the October 7th Hamas-led attacks on Israel and Israel's subsequent military response in Gaza. The conflict has led to devastating humanitarian, social, and political consequences for both Palestinians and Israelis. So today we're going to speak with someone who has spent the last 20 years of his life trying to help Palestinians and Israelis see one another as potential partners in peace. Sulaiman Khatib is from Hisma. It's a village north of Jerusalem. He's Palestinian, and as a teenager in the 1980s, he got involved in the Palestinian struggle for liberation, throwing stones, writing graffiti on public buildings, hanging Palestinian flags. And ultimately, when he was just 14, he and a friend attacked 2 Israeli soldiers. Khatib was sentenced to 15 years in prison. And there, he learned the principles of nonviolent protest. He participated in hunger strikes. He studied the writings of Gandhi, Mandela, and Martin Luther King Jr. And in an attempt to learn about his quote-unquote enemy, he even studied the history of the Jewish people and taught himself Hebrew and English. Khatib says his studies led him to realize he'd been wrong about the Jewish people being his enemy. Instead, he says he realized hatred, fear, and collective trauma were their common enemies. After 10 years and 5 months in prison, Khatib was released and co-founded Combatants for Peace, which brings former Israeli and Palestinian fighters together to pursue nonviolence side by side. They've been the subject of 2 documentaries. One came out in 2016 called Disturbing the Peace, and a new one called There Is Another Way is currently screening at events around the United States. Sulaiman Khatib, thank you so much for joining me today on Uncomfy.
Thank you, Julie, for hosting me. Thank you.
Would you take us back to your time in prison? Was there a specific experience or person that helped to shift your perspective?
In my case, it was a long journey. And first time I encountered nonviolence when I was 15 years old, together with teenagers, we launched a food hunger strike in order to improve the daily life conditions in jail. The strike was for 16 days where we don't eat, we drank a lot of water and salt. And my last hunger strike was for 17 days. This is one of the main transformative experiences I had in jail, alongside other reasons and experiences that showed me the power of nonviolence.
How did it work in that case? Your 17-day hunger strike,
Yeah,
there
like
were
we had,
changes?
the prisoners in solidarity with each other, we were very well organized. We usually demand like 30 demands, and we had a negotiation team and so on. And usually the Israeli administration would accept most of our demands, and then we stop. This is one example how nonviolence really can work in balanced situations, obviously. But I have to say, I didn't become Israeli. That's not my story. So I kept really grounded in my own story as Palestinian. And actually, the complex, I think, and that's maybe the invitation for people that listen, like how do I recognize there are other narratives without losing my own self? That's a complex journey.
Yes, Suleiman, that's really profound, and I want to probe that a little bit more. The notion that you could recognize other narratives, even the validity, the humanity of someone who sees the world so differently from you, and also kind of maintain your own narrative and stay true to your own identity. You've talked about how after you got out of prison and began working in bridge building and trying to find nonviolent ways to work side by side, ultimately you began to have the idea, along with others, to create this organization, Combatants for Peace. It was officially announced in 2006, but I understand there was quite a bit of work that was going on in secret behind the scenes leading up to that. Would you share a bit about what it took to be able to co-found an organization with former members of the Israeli military and Palestinian fighters like yourself who had been aligned with Fatah, right? And be able to work together in public?
Mm-hmm. I forget to mention also connected to your question that in my journey, the first thing I come to realize that there is no military solution for our
No
cause.
military solution. Hmm.
From a personal experience, like in my hand, it's not just from a books. I and other friends has been open after being jail. Like in the Palestinian side, more at the beginning, talking about nonviolence, and then believing that we have to find partners in the Israeli side. And there were Israeli groups that refused to continue serving the army. And then through a common friend that he suggested us to meet around Bethlehem area. Of course, like to be honest, like we don't trust each other. We come from like a very mistrust. These are like officers and soldiers, like just recently left the army. So there are a lot of psychological barriers and a lot of traumas. And yeah, it takes a lot of courage to overcome this and take a long time to build this trust and share the personal stories.
So you,
And some
so
people left
you,
and some people continue with us,
yeah,
stayed with
some
us.
people
Yeah.
didn't want to do it or continue. So,
Yeah.
so these were secret meetings, actually. So you
Yeah.
were, you,
Always.
you,
Yeah.
you were able to connect with people who were resisting, who had left the
Yeah.
Israeli army, no longer wanted to participate. You had become
Yes.
convinced there was no military solution. So you were able to start to meet, but you had to do so in secret. How did you build trust between one another?
Yeah, so to be honest, we didn't even have facilitation or anything. It's just like we come, and some of us, like myself, speak both languages, so that help us to communicate. With a lot of suspicious, the Israelis thought we would kidnap them, maybe. The Palestinians, we thought these belonged to the Israeli intelligence or something. So with the time, I think like sharing our personal story become like a important tool that we used to confess what we each one did.
Confess
Yeah,
what you had done toward the other, or toward,
yeah,
as part
yeah,
of your
yeah.
military experience. Wow.
For the Israeli military, we don't have military. We were in jail or
You're
active.
fighting,
Uh,
right, right.
but still, it was really tense for me. I saw when we did the first time, like a speaking about personal stories, it was tense. I attacked two Israelis when I was 14. So these people might be connected to the people I'm talking to. And Khen Alon, which is another founder of Combatants, he became like really a family now for me. He shared his story, and part of it was demolishing Palestinian houses next to where we're meeting, actually. And there are Palestinians listening in the room. It's not easy moments, but it's really important to speak about our stories, take responsibilities, and yeah, go from there. And now storytelling become a very important tool for us in combatant service since then.
You say storytelling has become an important
Mhm.
part of what you do.
Yeah,
Tell me a little more about what the strategy has been with Combatants for Peace. So
yeah,
it's co-founded,
yeah,
co-run by
yeah,
Israeli and Palestinian individuals. Every time I
mhm,
see, there are many panels where I've seen you like
yeah,
on the same panel together. You talk about one of your
yeah,
co-founders as being like family, Khen Alon. So what
yeah.
is the work that you're actually doing that you feel has made a difference over
Mhm.
the years?
So Combatants for Peace has been around almost 20 years, as we mentioned, and we do a lot of things like through the years. And I maybe just to highlight, we started almost 20 years ago doing the Palestinian-Israeli memorial ceremony to commemorate the people that killed in this conflict as a part of rehumanization process that we're doing, which is important here because there are a lot of dehumanizations in this part of the world. We have thousands of people, like 10,000 people, 15,000 people joining this, and global. It became a global event actually as a sacred event.
Sulaiman, where
Yeah,
do you hold this joint memorial ceremony
yeah.
honoring
We
those who have died
we
in the conflict
usually
on all
yeah.
sides?
Yeah, usually this is in the same evening of the Israeli memorial, national memorial ceremony, where
Okay.
Palestinians are not part of that.
Mm.
So this used to be alternative ceremony, but now it become the biggest one after the governmental one. And the other one, for example, we have also the Nakba ceremony, which is the Palestinian catastrophe. We do it together with our Israeli partners. It's called Nakba, the catastrophe of 48. And it's really important to recognize the past and the trauma, the collective traumas that happened to our peoples here in order to move forward. And so many other actions. Tomorrow, for example, because we started recently doing a joint sitting or rallies asking, demand ending the war and prisoners exchange and the peace agreement.
I was going to ask you how, since October 7th, 2023, I was wondering how you have been able to continue and how that has changed your work. You say one thing is that you do vigils, rallies, sit-ins, joint Israeli-Palestinians demanding an end to the conflict and a return of the prisoners. Is it harder to recruit people to your side or to your cause, given the conflict over the last 2 years?
Well, like you mentioned, after October 7, our work became much important and harder somehow. And now, 2 years later, almost, I think there are more and more people coming to realize that there is no military solution like we had in the past. There are more people joining us and supporting us compared to the past. And for us, Combatants for Peace, other organizations, we are not alone. We're trying to show the possibilities. That's why the movie called There Is Another Way, because we believe there is another way, and we know that our peoples in history has lived together, and it's possible. And if we, as ex-combatants, were able to change and transform and work together, and we come as full truth. It's not just love and like all good. We really brings the reality, obviously, and the challenges and everything. Everybody is able to change, I believe. So I'm really feeling grounded and optimistic that this darkness now, it's very dangerous moments while we're talking, to be honest now. But I believe people are awakening and it will change.
You say you're feeling very hopeful in this moment. Hopeful of what? What is the positive future that you could envision that you hope might be the other way?
Yeah, I dream of a collective liberation because I think
Sorry, I want to make sure I understand. You said a
collective
collective
liberation.
liberation.
Yes, for our people, both, because I don't think Israelis are free either. I mean, we live under the occupation, obviously, and there is power dynamic and all of that. But I know well both societies because I'm Palestinian and I'm very open, have Israeli friends and partners, and I follow what's happening in both sides closely because I live here in this reality. And I see also there is hope and vision and political imagination that we could live next to each other and share this space instead of either or.
Just to be clear, are you? Is it a Palestinian state, an Israeli state? Is it one nation where you exist with co-equal power? What is your hope?
Yeah, I spoke about collective liberation means that we both people become liberated and free. I know there are many solutions out there. There are two-state solution, one-state solution. There are federation. There are two-state, one homeland. I believe like in solutions that are connecting us than separating us. And I'm less really busy with whatever arrangements. If there was a will, as they say, there is a way, and to rebuild, to rehumanize each other and to build the trust among our people, and that our people can, most of the people here, it's hard to sell hope, Julie. That's the hardest challenge that
It's
we
hard
have.
to sell
It's
hope.
very,
Oh, I can only
no,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, especially now, and I think maybe part of our mission is really to keep hope alive, and it's not fake hope. Uh, like one of our guys said after one successful event of the joint memorial ceremony, where this was a few years ago, we have like almost 15,000 people, and thousands of people were online, and he said, "I hope this event will become the formal Palestinian-Israeli future event for all the people here." So I think our work can show that this cooperation works. And Combatants for Peace, practically talking, started as a two-state solution like 20 years ago. And to be honest, now not everybody in that page, because of the settlements, because of whatever. So we have different people in the organization now. They have different opinion. I just want to be honest about this.
Right. So you don't have agreement
Yeah.
within your organization about exactly what that solution looks like, but it's collective liberation. I think it's so interesting that the hope then is grounded, it sounds like, in people being able to see that there are, in fact, others that they've considered the enemy, as well as others who are like
Yeah.
them, who are able to see one another as partners. And if you can at least do that, and if you can commemorate and memorialize loss and mourn together, even as enemies, quote unquote, then
Yeah.
there is hope. Then it's hope for something other than perpetual conflict, effectively.
Definitely. And I can say, look, let's say this, like from our personal experiences, the zero-sum game is not gonna work. I'm not gonna give up on my Palestinian belonging, and Israelis are not gonna give up on their identity, to say. And it's very hard, but for some people, this is either or. It's not gonna work, and I feel we have a responsibility, not just for Palestinian Israelis, but rather beyond, for the world, to show a different way of being, and which world we want to see and to create together. And that's a bigger question than Palestinian Israelis. Some people want wars forever, and some people want to find a common ground, and we have a choice.
Sulaiman Khatib is co-founder and a former co-director of Combatants for Peace. They're featured in a new documentary called There Is Another Way. The website to learn more and hopefully find a screening in your community is thereisanotherwayfilm.com. Sulaiman Khatib, thank you so much for taking time today to tell us about your story and your vision. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Julia. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for getting uncomfy with us today. Sulaiman's story is a powerful reminder to me that leaning into discomfort can transform not just our own lives, but entire communities. So I'd love to hear about a moment when you chose the harder, braver path. Share your story at uncomfy@byu.edu or connect with us on Instagram. We are at uncomfy.podcast. Uncomfy is a BYU radio podcast. Samuel Benson produces it, and the team includes Hyobin Kim and Sam Payne. Our theme music was composed by Kelsey Ney. I'm Julie Rose. Can't wait to get uncomfy with you again next week. Before I leave you, I want to recommend another show from the BYU Radio family of podcasts that I'm pretty sure you're going to love. It's called Constant Wonder, and it consistently, or should I say constantly, ranks near the top of Apple's nature podcasts in their rankings. But Constant Wonder is about more than just nature. It's about finding awe in everything around us, including our own backyards. So on the show, you'll hear guests share stories of spiritual encounters with nature, of real-life accounts of human kindness and bravery, like a doctor on a quest to bring care to the homeless. See the world with new eyes as host Marcus Smith invites us to find wonder in every corner of life. Listen to new episodes of Constant Wonder every Wednesday on the BYU Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.